Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 21st of July. Very happy to be in Queensland at the moment, given what's happening in New South Wales and Victoria. We do need to learn from those experiences and understand that although we are currently quite safe and there is a very low number of cases in Queensland, it's very important that we maintain our vigilance, that we take care, that we follow the health directions, that we understand the need for continuing to maintain social distance and also to be conscious of being around people who may be sick or have flu-like symptoms. So if you are one of those people who does have flu-like symptoms, you need to make sure that you go to the doctor. One of the things in these times of uncertainty, it's important for us to remember that children in particular and young people who are at school will maybe feel higher levels of anxiety and may be stressed, nervous, angry, upset, quite the spectrum of emotions. Sometimes they will go from 0 to 100 very quickly because they are picking up on the underlying tension and nervousness and anxiety within the community in general. So I was listening this morning to some of the health experts from Victoria and New South Wales and noting that there's a high increase in the level of anxiety across the whole of the community. So in young people in particular, it usually manifests itself through some sort of behaviours and usually negative behaviours, being withdrawn, maybe just moody, those sorts of things. So just be conscious of those things and rather than trying to yell at the kids or discipline them more, it's probably what they're asking for is for you to sit down and talk to them, not hide the things, be honest and say, yes, we need to be careful. Yes, there are some issues, but we are safe in Queensland at the moment because we are following the guidelines. Also, just let them know that if something does happen, that we're well prepared, that we have very good hospitals and very good doctors, that we have very good processes in place to follow should we get an outbreak in Queensland. We can't say things like, oh, it's not going to happen here, it's on the other side of the border, because what that tends to do is if it does happen, then they won't believe you in the future. And until we have a proven vaccine, this is going to come and go, and we don't know when it's going to come and go. So honesty, openness, more talking, communication is really the key to making sure that we feel comfortable, safe, secure, and not as anxious as what might be the case. It's even more important at the moment for you to be in communication with the school, that the school and home are working in partnership in terms of how we're talking to the kids about that. Also, starting a new semester fresh, where we've had a disrupted previous term, it's really important that we're talking to the students about behaviour and learning in a similar way. So a heads up for next week, we have our parent-teacher afternoon. The reports are coming out tomorrow, that's Wednesday, being sent home, and along with that will be a note about parent-teacher interviews next week. Now, as part of parent-teacher interviews next week, we'll also be running some sessions for parents around kickstarting school again after last term, planning for the future, advice around how we might deal with issues that might come up during this semester as we try and do the best that we can for 2020 and prepare for 2021. We can't be just reactive and waiting for things to happen. As we had a plan prior to Easter, where we had a 3-stage plan for the school in terms of how we might deal with different levels of outbreak of COVID-19. We also have a plan going forward to 2021 in preparing students, and I'd like to share that with parents next week. So it's much better to do that on a personal face-to-face than it is just by doing a message on video and things like that. So I hope to see as many of you as we can next week on Tuesday afternoon at our parent-teacher interviews. Also next week, just a shout out to the parents who may be joining the Tallawong State School community for 2021, that the Pathway to Prep program is starting next week. So can you please look out for information regarding that. So that starts next Wednesday. So if you have already got students at the school and you have some younger ones that may be starting prep in 2021, to ease that transition, we have a Pathways to Prep program. And so if you're new families or existing families, it's important for you to find out about that and participate in that program to give your children the best start to their future and lay the foundation for a happy and successful life. So Pathways to Prep coming up, and you'll just continue with following health advice around social distancing and being careful in terms of cold and flu-like symptoms. Keep communicating with the school, and they're my key messages for this week. So I'll be back with another update next week. Thank you.